Okay, here is a video I should have made a long time ago. I made a list of software changes I believe will make the car better. Both the Tesla Model S and X. Some of them are S related, some of them are X related. Most of them are, for both of them. So yes, over the time I added more and more items, and I wanted to make it like a fancy video with some more clips or whatever. But you know what? I'm just gonna make it simple. The KISS, keep it simple, stupid, right? So let's just get on it. The first feature I want is camper mode. Now the camper mode that we like, the workaround we use today, has some flaws. For instance, you cannot switch off the lights, so it kind of attracts some attention, and yeah, and also you cannot use when the car is plugged in. So that's also unfortunate in case you want to nap while you're charging. That doesn't work. And if they implement it, if Tesla makes it, they should also have some kind of timer. So you say you want to camp for 2 hours or 8 hours, and then the car will check whether you have enough state of charge, maybe based on how many degrees you want inside and also the ambient temperature, and then you can figure out if it'll work or not. It's really simple math. Yeah. All right, the next one is scheduled preheating. Now the car has scheduled charging but not scheduled preheating, but the scheduled charging is very simple. It's just one setting, whereas like the e-Golf and the i3, you can have multiple schedules, like Monday, Tuesday, stuff like that. And also you can choose if you want to preheat the car or just charge it. And also the i3 app, you can also choose like where you choose when to charge when the energy cost is low. So yes, something like that would be nice to have in the Tesla, and also so you can change the setting via the app, not only go in the car to do it. Yeah, that would be great. All right, the third new feature or improved feature is the charging screen. It should show you more. For instance, at least if you bring up the charging screen, it should show you state of charge in percentage, and also kilometers or miles. Like just show everything. This charging screen is so freaking huge. So you can, and also the screen is huge. So why not? But it should also show you kilowatt and voltage and amp in the same thing. Just give it everything. And also one nice and also confusing number is the kilometers added. But at least you should also show you how many minutes you've been there. That timer is kind of nice, because then okay, you've been there for half an hour, oh, that long, or you've been there for 10 minutes, and maybe you want to charge for 15 minutes, so then you can stay for 5 more minutes. So yes, very nice to have. Feature number 4, faster auto brightness. The auto brightness was really bad before. It was super slow, and then they increased the speed to be faster, but it's still not fast enough. It should be like, at least when it detects a sudden change in light, for instance, entering a tunnel or exiting a tunnel, it should do like many of the other cars and just dim it quite a lot. Many other cars, they have night mode and day mode, but Tesla will slowly adjust it and slowly adjust it. It's too slow. It's too slow in Norway. You enter tunnel, exit tunnel, enter tunnel, exit tunnel. So yeah, much faster auto brightness. Number 5 feature is show some kind of energy screen, just like Ioniq, Hyundai, Kia, whatever. Many of the other cars, Nissan Leaf also, you have some screen where you see how many kilowatt you are using right now for propulsion, for heater, and for maybe some other stuff. So that screen is useful for us if you want to figure out how can we save energy. And also they should add another component, which is the battery heater. How much energy, how much power it consumes. Not energy, because we're talking about current power right now. Yeah. Feature number 6. This is actually a feature I want back, because before some updates, this is Model X only, with the auto opening doors. Before you could double tap on the fob to open the driver's door, and then Yeah, that's the thing. And you can also double tap again. Then they implemented that you double tap again to open the passenger door. But with that feature, which I like, because then I can open the door for Wi-Fi. They force you to have auto presenting door enabled to use in order to use that feature. So I want to have that feature with auto presenting door off, because auto presenting door can be dangerous. We have one Norwegian guy who was a little bit unfortunate. He was in the back there doing something in the city, and then he moved forward towards, but not. He wasn't entering the car. It was just moving forward, and the car detected the fob, opened the door frame, and then suddenly the tram came. So the door crashed into the tram, or the other way. All right, feature number 7: adjust steering wheel up before exiting. And that feature is nice because especially if you have the next gen seat in Model S, it's kind of hard to get in and out. So adjusting steering wheel up and down, and maybe also adjusting the seat backwards, but that one can be a bit dangerous if you have stuff like child seat or something, or I don't know, stuff in the back there. But at least steering wheel is safe to raise and lower. But Tesla said they will implement that soon, so yes, that's coming. It's good. All right, we have to hurry. We have so many features here. Okay, number 8, show both inside and outside temperature. Now, I know that there's a sensor for outside temperature because we see that in the screen, but there's also a sensor for inside temperature because we see that in the app. But in the app, you can only see inside temperature, not outside temperature, and the other way. So why not show both of them in here, in the screen? We have a huge screen, show both of them. Number 9 feature is show elevation based on GPS. The e-Golf has that feature. It will show you your current elevation on the screen based on where you are. So I guess it doesn't have like a, what you call it, the height measurement tool, whatever, but it's just based on GPS. But it should also show you your destination elevate like height, because then if you want to, if let's say you are here and you're going there, then that means you need some extra energy. Or if you are up there and you're going down there, then you need less energy and you don't have to sweat that much. So that's very useful to have. Number 10, speed develop volume. Most other cars has it nowadays. It's just that when you increase speed, you also increase noise, and you need to compensate for that to just have slightly higher volume. That's it. It shouldn't be too hard to implement. The next one, number 11, is zero regen toggle. Now, not many cars has it. Only Ioniq has it, actually, where you can switch off regen. Now, you can do a workaround with the Model S or X, which is to put it in neutral. But the problem with putting it in neutral is that you cannot apply power. So, whereas in the Ioniq, when you have it on zero regen, you can apply power, but you will still coast downhill. And this technique is to save energy. So it's all about efficiency, especially for Model 3, I guess. So why not implement it? Feature number 12, pin on disabling remote access. We heard from time to time people almost got their car stolen, but they look at the app and then they call the police and they track down the stolen car, and then the story ended happily. But of course, that was because the thief was a noob. If a thief knew about the Tesla, he would just go in there, he or she, and then disable remote access, and then the owner would have no clue what's going on. So we have to have a pin to disable to be able to disable remote access. But of course, Tesla personnel, they will still be able to override it. Yeah. All right. Number 13, torque sleep independent of range mode. Torque sleep is something that will allow. This is for dual motor S or X. When you have torque sleep, the rear motor, which is slightly less efficient in like the performance cars, will sleep more, and then you will use the front motor more. So for instance, my car, which is a P90D, the rear motor is more inefficient. So in this torque sleep mode, the front motor will work more most of the time. It will be a front wheel drive. So that is to save energy, especially for the performance model. For the non-performance, you have less energy saving, but you still save a little bit. That's what I measured. So having it on a separate button is nice. I will come back to that soon. because well, next one, number 14 is battery heater independent of range mode. So when you have the range mode, it changes lots of parameters with just one single button or toggle. So I also want the battery heater to be independent of the range mode. So a separate button, because in the summer I don't need battery heater. It's warm enough here in Norway. And also even in like fall, where it's starting to get slightly cold, I still don't need it, because as for me, this is, you know, dependent on your situation, but as for me, I drive with a trailer, and the trailer has higher load when you pull it, so the heat builds up pretty quick. So I figured out actually lately that I can use range mode, because I don't need to warm up at the battery. It will be warm enough. By the time I get to the supercharger, it will be more than warm enough. So I'm kind of wasting energy heating up the battery pack before I leave, because I want the cabin to be nice and warm. So yes, simple explanation. You get the point, right? And of course, number 15 is that range mode should be renamed to climate eco mode, because range mode is very confusing. Some new users, they think range mode has something to do with, you know, charging it to 100% instead of 90%, but that is, well, like popularly called range charge, but it's not even like a button for it. You have to push the slider to 100%. So range mode, like I mentioned, it does too many things in one button. You need to split it up in several functions, because most Tesla users, they are advanced users. So they want to, you know, be able to control all that. And why do I mention this? Well, because many times, as for me, in summer, I want to switch off. I want to switch off the battery heater, but I want to have torque sleep to save energy. I guess when you do drag racing, you still want the, you know, the back motor to be active and kicking. And as for climate, well, in winter, you know, I still want to have what's it called? So many. I still want to have torque sleep. And maybe some days I want to have battery heater, but most of the time, because I drive with a trailer, I will probably have battery heater off. But some days when it's really cold, I want to have the you know, the range mode, the eco. I mean the so many the climate. I don't want it to be on eco mode. I want the climate to be on the normal mode, because if you have it on range mode, it will like, you know, have lower output. And today you can't do that. You have to choose. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. So right, enough about that. Number 16, standard cruise control. There should be a way to set the cruise control to be, you know, non-adaptive, to just follow that speed whatever you set. So that one is very nice, because from time to time, especially in winter, when you have a little bit of snow, slush, the radar gets blocked, jammed, and then I cannot use a cruise control at all. And that is very annoying, because once it happens, usually you have to wait like 15 minutes, half an hour before it disappears. Before I try to stop and scrape it off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So and also then I'm not able to use cruise control. So that is kind of annoying, because usually when it happens to me, at least, it's not on a very busy road anyway. So just be able to cruise at constant speed is very nice. And also, the adaptive cruise control will slow down the car based on GPS position. So if you have some kind of winding roads, the car will slow down automatically. That is nice for most people, but for some people, you want to drive faster through that curve anyway. You know, you want to drive that speed you set, because you know it's fine. And then it's very annoying every time it will slow down. So yeah. All right. Number 17, manual mode or classic mode in the display. People who had the classic ones before autopilot, AP cars, you know, you have that circle with the car, and then you have the power output. It's really nice to have it in manual mode, because then you see the power output and all that stuff much clearer than you can see now. You can bring up this energy thing, you know, but it will take up one of the slots. So for instance, you cannot have a navigation and trip meter. I usually have navigation and trip meter, and then there's no spot for the power meter. If I want the power meter, I have to give up one of them, and I like the others too, you know. So that mode would be useful if you're driving on manual, not on autopilot, because in autopilot you need to be able to see, you know, what the car sees. I don't know how that could be implemented, but should be possible. All right, where are we now? All right, number 18, average speed in trip meter. A trip meter will show you how long distance you're driven. It will show you how many minutes, but it won't show you average speed. And most other cars will show you average speed. The average speed is very nice because then you know how fast you're driven on that stretch. It could also be useful when you are entering an average speed camera zone, and you can reset it, and then you know the average speed during that whole stretch. All right, number 19, power Regen line that is always visible, just like in the Model 3. Because I saw in the Model 3 that there is a little line which will show you either output or regen. It's always nice because, you know, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't show the energy in the instrument cluster, then you have no idea whether the car is regenning or applying power. And there are some times when I want to know that. So it would be nice to just have a little bit of information, you know. It doesn't take too much. Maybe you make it with a color, you know, green and then orange or something, so it's clear how, I mean, if you're regenning or discharging. All right, number 20, set typical. So the car, Tesla, is based on a constant when it calculates the range. It's not like the other cars where it has a gasometer that goes up and down based on your current usage. So the typical, or whatever, you know, or ideal in some countries in America is very nice, but sometimes I want to set it manually because some people, they drive more motorways, and that means that they have always higher usage than that typical constant whatever is set on that car. And I drive with a trailer, so I have usually a 1.5 to 1.7 times higher consumption than the typical. So it would be nice for me to set it, especially when I have a trailer. I know I'm going to drive far for a long time. Just set it to a higher number, and that will be a lot more easier for me to calculate the range and all that stuff. Nowadays I have to always multiply this by a factor or divide it by the factor to figure out how much energy I have enough. And yeah, you know, why would you have to set it manual? Because why don't you just have a GOM like the other cars have? Well, the problem with the GOM is that it's like, you know, the range you have left will depend on your current one. So if you consume a lot suddenly because you go uphill, then it will show you that, oh, you're not gonna make it, and then suddenly it goes downhill for a while, and then it says, oh yes, you have plenty. But you know, the GOM doesn't know that, okay, you go downhill, but you still have to climb a lot before the supercharger, for instance. So yeah, the GOM can trick you, and I've seen on other forums and other car drivers, I mean, they're like other EV drivers, they'll go, oh man, first it consumed a lot, and then it gave me a lot, but it didn't. It's just the GOM that changes up and down. So in a way, I like having the constant that Tesla uses because it's more predictable than the GOM. All right, and feature number 21 is to have a GOM, because for some users who are not that who don't care too much, then the GOM, and also for users who have like pretty obviously even consumption, then the GOM will make more sense to them. So having a GOM is also nice. So yeah. Number 22 is the autopilot beep. The first beep shouldn't count as a strike. What's the problem with the autopilot notification is that, you know, when I have autopilot active, I don't watch the screen. I watch the road, I watch the traffic, everything, you know, just paying attention to what the car is doing. I try to read the traffic pretty much, and I don't see the screen anymore. I don't have to see the screen, you know, it does everything for me. So I don't see the small notification, and also when it started flashing the whole instrument cluster, especially in the evening, that one reminds me of when you know, the street lights pass by, and that that circle around the instrument cluster is also kind of shiny, and it kind of like flashes the same way as the autopilot warning does. So many times I get a strike and I'm like, oh shit, and then I touch the steering wheel. So it would be nice if at least the first beep wouldn't count as a strike. Yeah. So all right, next one, number 23, public charges in navigation. Again, many other cars has this, but it's based on some kind of outdated database, but at least it's there. So it would be nice if Tesla will also have it, but how they're gonna keep it updated, that's another question, because there should be some kind of standard API, but that doesn't exist, of course. Another solution would be to share it between Teslas. I'm not sure how you do it, because for instance, my charging point here at home, I don't want it to automatically be shared with anyone else. But maybe if there is an option on the screen where you can choose, like, I want to share this, and then maybe it needs at least, let's say, 10 or 50 shares before it will even pop up in a Tesla. And then of course someone at Tesla has to verify this somehow and then make it like official or something. That would be really nice to have, because you can say that while you always have these apps you can use, you should know all these apps. What if you drive in a different country and you don't know this? When I was in Korea, I drove the Ioniq. I didn't have an app for that, or maybe the app was in Korean, so I used the in-cars map and charging station, and it worked flawlessly most of the time. So it also shows you how much speed it has. It was either slow or fast. So having that feature in a Tesla would improve the driving experience quite a lot. Yeah. Okay, number 24, option to always show top bar in navigation. This is a feature I want back, because with the introduction of one of the other, I don't remember when, they started auto hiding all that stuff. So you have to tap once to get, the top bar, and also to get all the layers where you can switch off on and off traffic, the satellite, and it's very annoying, because I want to have it always on. So there should be an option to auto hide or not, just like in Windows you can auto hide the start bar or not, make it optional. Yeah. All right, number 25, charging points should be possible to delete or hide. Once you are plugged in somewhere, then you cannot delete that charging point. And as for me, I'm all over the place. So the problem is that it will always save whatever charging point you have been. But some charging point is like, I've been there once and I would never charge anymore. So I kind of want to get rid of it so it doesn't clutter my map, lots of stuff. So another nice thing is that, of course, if you go to your mistress and then you don't want your wifey to know about that, don't plug in, because if you plug in, then you cannot delete that charging point. It will be in the map. The only way to delete it is to delete the whole car, reset the whole car. So yeah. All right, number 26, show speed cameras in countries allowed. Now that could be a little bit controversial, but yes, speed cameras, many cars they have it. For instance, again, Ioniq has it. There's a warning, there's a sound when a speed camera is coming up and all that. So at least in countries that are allowed, you should be able to get some kind of notification. Number 27, show weather, wind and temperature on the map and on your route. That is very useful to figure out whether you will make it or not, or just, maybe you can choose a route based on weather. So maybe if that route is rainy but that route is sunny, then you want to choose a sunny route or something. So that's always very nice, because many people might not know this, but the wet roads will increase the consumption maybe 10 to 20%. Yeah, temperature not that much, but road surface, yes. Number 28, choose routes like Google Maps. In the navigation, you only pretty much have one option, which is that one, the shortest one. Yeah, there's no way to choose other alternate routes. But when you do it in Google Maps, you get several options, and it will show you distance, time, all that. So having the same option in the Tesla would be really great, because you have a big screen, you can show a lot of information, so why not? Okay, number 29 is multiple waypoints. This is a feature I've been wanting for a long time. When you want to go somewhere, very typical like scenario, you have whatever range, you have to go somewhere first, and then maybe somewhere else, and then you have to go to a supercharger or home or your place where you will charge up. And there's no way in the navigation to do that, to have multiple stops or whatever. Almost every other car I've tested has that option, so it's about time Tesla also gets it. All right, man, I have so many. Okay, number 30, tab for favorites and recent should always be visible. So in the navigation, you have this list of favorites you save, and also another list for recent, and I use those a lot because when I'm delivering stuff or picking up stuff beforehand, I save them as favorites, but then before I go to a city, I try to navigate to some of them to check them out where they are, and then I'll switch over to recent to quickly access the ones that are like coming up now. So I kind of want a way to, like before, of course, that before it was always visible. Now when I'm scrolling down list, I'm not sure, like, is this the favorites list or is this the recent one? Yeah. All right, number 31, option to delete all recent. So this is of course in the same thing that I mentioned, the recent list in the navigation. Over time it can be pretty long, and at least in the old car I had a problem where that list became so long that it slowed down navigation calculation. So if you want to navigate somewhere, it would just for 10 seconds, and then it gave me a list, a route. So there should be a way to delete them all, because now if you want to delete them, you have to like long hold and then delete one, and then long hold and delete one. So, yeah. All right, feature number 32, smart match like Google on navigation. So today it's very strict. You have to enter that address like exactly how it is. If you misspell something, it won't show up. I'm like, what the heck? Is this street a new one? No, it's not a new one. It's an old one, but I misspelled it. So yes, that would be very nice to have. Feature number 33 is Model X only feature. When you set the car in park, it will bring up this screen where you can open the doors, the Falcon Wing door or something, and the back doors. So that screen is very nice, very useful to have, because once you close it, then you have to go to controls. Let me see, what was it again? Controls, and then there's a tab for doors. So it's kind of cumbersome to try to find that quickly. So for instance, if I'm the driver, I'm waiting for some people, and then I see that they're coming, then usually it takes too long for me to fiddle around with this, and then they open the door manually because I want to open the door for them. So having that screen always available as a button on the top or somewhere would be nice, just like you have that lightning sign for charging screen. Yeah. The next feature, number 34, is adjust passenger seat from the screen. So from time to time, yes, the passenger will adjust the seat, maybe push it very far from the front or back or something, and the only way for me to adjust it, at least from this position, is to reach over there and then try to adjust it. And I don't have too long arms because I'm an Asian. So adjusting it from the screen would be a lot better, because after all, you can adjust the back seat now of the Model X from the screen. So why not make it also the passenger, Yeah. All right, feature number 35 is show country border more visible in night mode. In night mode, the whole color scheme changes, and it's really, really, really hard to see the borders. So when you are traveling maybe between states in America or around Europe, it's really hard to spot them. So I have to switch over to day mode, and at night it's like, ooh, it's so bright, you know. So yes, it would be better if they change it somehow to make it more visible. Feature number 36 is show battery temperature. Now the battery, we know that, you know, if it's cold, you don't have regen. If it's too hot, you don't get too good charging speed maybe, or something, or it's limited by something else. So this is maybe for experts to know the battery temperature, because at least in fossil cars there is always this gauge to show you the oil temperature or something. So why shouldn't we get a battery temperature gauge, you know, or a gauge, just something, some indication? Now we are like left in the dark unless we go to the dark side and show more info, or use the canvas reader or something. But you know, yeah. All right. Feature number 37 is actually coming according to Tesla. All the settings in the car, you know, seat position, volume, radio, channels, everything. I mean everything should be able to be stored somewhere. In the beginning, I was talking about like a memory stick or something, but it's even better. Just store it in the cloud. Yes. Store it in the cloud, and then every time I get a loaner or every time I use another car, just load it there. At least, you know, the settings that is possible to load. So for instance, you know, if I store the Model X settings, I go to the Model S, at least all the settings there should be loaded. Yeah, it's coming, so that is actually awesome. What other car in this world can do that, huh? Yeah. All right, feature number 38, show scale on map. So many times when I look at the map and I want to figure how far is this, there's really no way to, well, you have to maybe guess, maybe if it's like 30 kilometers to the destination, and then you see, okay, halfway, that might be 15 and something. But having a scale is very useful because you have that in Google. Yeah, so scale, nice. Feature number 39 is a cool one. Voice command for opening a panorama roof or opening a falcon wing door. Yeah, why not? Because you know, I mean, Tesla always tries to make this car cool. Now they implement some cool features, but why not make it even cooler? Because of course you can fiddle around with the buttons to open the doors, but what about just hold out a button and say, open left falcon wing, or open panorama 15, something like that, you know, and it will open. Yeah, why not? All right. Feature number 40, disable adaptive cruise control for a set number of time. I mentioned before there was another feature where you can have like just like disable it forever, you know, until you switch it on again. But what about just disabling it for a set time? Because I can understand Tesla wants it to be, they want to enforce adaptive cruise control, because otherwise people might forget that we are not in adaptive mode and they might, you know, crash into the car in front of them or something. But the problem is that with adaptive cruise control, when you are driving on new roads, I see on the map, according to the map, you're driving on off-road, you're flying over rivers and shit, you know. And the problem with that is that the navigation will slow down. It thinks you are driving off-road. Sometimes it thinks you're driving on some old road, but it's like you're driving on a 4-lane motorway. So the car keeps slowing down all the time, and it's very annoying. Could also be a little bit dangerous if you have like a big rig behind you. So there should be a way to say, okay, disable adaptive cruise control for the next 10 minutes, something like that, because you should know how long that new stretch of road is. And you can always say yes, but you know, the only solution is to update the maps. It's not that simple, because the map can take very long time to update, because for instance in Norway you have to update in the database, in the national database, and then that one has to be, you know, pushed to the international database or something. It takes very long. Yeah. All right. Option number 40 is a changelog for software updates. I recently received a software update yesterday, which was to fix the bug with entering tow mode. Yeah, I got it a little bit late, but it just said, you know, improving the car or something. Why don't you give me the change log? Because only, like most other softwares and apps and whatever, there's always a change log. You know, this new version will fix whatever. Yeah, just give it to us. Of course, it's very like, if it's very like complex or something like blah blah blah, what that nobody knows, then okay, you can omit that. But at least like common fixes or common features that they change should be mentioned in a change log. Right. The last one, number 42, is night mode on the MCU. So again, I noticed that in the Kia, and also I believe in the Hyundai Ioniq, you can switch off that touchscreen at night. Just yeah, and I believe in the Saab, it is a fossil car. There's also some kind of night mode where you turn off everything except for the speedometer, because at night, especially if you drive like out in the bush somewhere, you don't need too much information like navigation or something. So there should be some kind of night mode where you can just cruise along and you have just whatever you need, like speedometer or something, maybe a little bit of navigation in the small screen, and that's it. And maybe if you tap on the big screen, it will light up, of course, maybe for let's say 10 to 30 seconds, 1 minute, and then it will kind of dim off again. That would be a really cool feature to have. Yeah, but that was 42 suggestions on how to improve the car. Yes, life, universe, and everything, right? 42. So I hope that Tesla will at least look at some of these, maybe try to make some of them. Probably not all of them, because I just mentioned them, and most of them, I mean, or many of them are not that important, but some of them are important. Yeah. All right. I will probably make a follow-up later when I get more ideas. Yeah. So this is like the first one, or maybe it was the second one. I don't remember. But yes, of course. So if you want to comment, please comment about new features that should be in a Tesla. All right. That's it for now then. So thank you for watching.